Hang on a second. This thing's all messed up. See if I can get this to fix. Nope, that didn't work. Alright, bear with me guys. I thought I was scheduled and somehow I went live. Patience. Bobby B. Alright, so I have no idea what's going on with the camera right now. Well, I like the fact that I can actually see your guys' chat. Am I positioned correctly? Am I or am I sideways? What's going on? Tell me. I'm sideways. Okay, I thought maybe that was the case. We'll just I guess we'll have to just do it this way. Let's see here. Let's see if this works. Now we're going to be upside down. Now I'm upside down, right? Yeah, I'm definitely upside down. Okay, hang on. Patience, Padawan. We're going to have to do it. We're going to go this route because I screwed up and I don't want to mess up anything. So we're going to do this. We're going to go noob vision. I'm good. Okay, that's awesome. I have no idea what I'm doing. I am a clueless individual. So I can't even see the camera hardly. It's barely showing me through the background. I'm not sure what's going on, but at least I can. I'm on the wall, but at least I can see the text. I'm not struggling with that. So I may start doing my streams like this. This seems to be good. I wonder if I can. Let me try this. Let me see if I can do something here. I'm game to try something different. Okay, let's, what does this do? Does that flip me the other way? That flips the other way, okay. Go back to that. Now we're good. She said, do you love me? I say, I'm sorry. Only love me bed and my mom, I'm sorry. Man, you guys have issues. Just saying. So, I saw, oh, I can move it too. Oh, wow, there's a bunch of you guys here today. What's up, Brandon? Nice to see you. Bobby Burkett, Bobby B. Miles Bachelor. What's happening? Yep, I can't pronounce that name. Sabinodo, Sabionodo. I'm sure I'm screwing that up. I have more wrinkles than a pair of locker room pants. Thank you. I earned them all. And Jonas. Yeah, I'm definitely old. All right, Joe B in the building. Trunk Thunder Lithium. Brandon is having a good laugh at me. Well, that's great. I always enjoy being the entertainment. This is why I have a YouTube channel. So let me show you guys something here. Let me see if I can operate a tripod. I haven't been able to operate the camera very well. So we're going to try the tripod. And I'm going to do diddly-diddly-do. I'm going to do the thing. And then I'm going to do this thing. Bam! I did that part right. All right, guys. So what you're looking at right here, let me get a different view so we can kind of get everything in the shot. There we go. Bob's your uncle. Yeah. So as you can see, never mind these guys too much. They were already stuck on this board. But I got me 2 distribution blocks. One's for power, one's for ground. I got 2 switches. You apply power to these guys, and it connects this to this. Okay? Click, these two get connected. Down here, I got your relays. These are 30 amp relays. Is everybody keeping up? Let me see. Crescendo. Is that, yeah, I did that right. Yeah. All right. So the idea, oh yeah, got one more element to add. This guy right here. Bam. Bam. So this is my thermostat, right? The thermostat has this little sensor here. Thermostat's got this little sensor right here. So we'll put that sucker right there. Now, is everybody keeping up? I don't know. Let me check the angle of the dangle. Make sure I got a decent shot. Okay. So this guy right here mounted in a heat sink, which I don't have displayed, close to where the lithium battery goes, right? This guy mounted in the heat sink connects to this guy. This guy is set up to say whenever it's 34 degrees or lower, then we send a signal to the relay, both relays. The signal comes in, the relays are already got power on them. They're sending power to these guys, which connects the power from here to here, from here to here. This going to the lithium battery, this going back to the alternator. It's always connected, always energized, and these guys are on, right? So when the signal comes to the relays go click, and they disconnect these guys, which disconnects the power from to the lithium from the power going to the alternator. Is everybody keeping up? All right. Now, at the same time, I could use a third relay, or one of these relays actually, to energize the heating pad that would be underneath the lithium. So whenever it says it's too cold, it disconnects power from the front of the vehicle to the lithium and turns on a heater under the lithium. That heats up the lithium. You got this sensor right here with its heat sink, big old heat sink, kind of like on a CPU, is sitting pretty close to that heater, maybe a few inches away from that heater and that lithium bank. Bam. It's getting warm. Area around it starts to warm up. Lithium's getting nice and warm and juicy, and all the lithium juices are flowing. Signal goes back to here, telling this guy it's now higher than 34 degrees. Bam. It triggers the relays, closes these back up, sends power back to the lithium from the alternator, and turns off the heater all at the same time. It's one big high-powered car audio BMS. Is everybody catching up now? Yeah. All right, let's see what we got, what we're talking about here. Now. All right. Looks close though. Oops. It fooled me. You guys are off on a run somewhere. 04 in a bit. Crescendo. My bad. Audio. Okay. All right. Did y'all catch it? Did y'all follow what I just said, or was y'all talking amongst yourselves? I need to know these things. I explained the whole operation. Would you stop? There's always something trying to attack me from behind. That just sounded so wrong. Now we got things under control. But please, I said that was it. That was the bulk of the thing. So if you missed it, you just missed it. You're going to have to rewatch the video later when it goes back up on the YouTube, because you failed. The whole idea, I still got to order the heating pad. As you can see, I've got pretty much everything else. Now, I don't know if these guys will handle 300 amps of output constantly. And even then, I may be putting a lot more power than that through them. So I may need to change them out, or at very least get like 2 more of them. The reason I'm running 2 relays is because I heard different things on how much power these require to operate. Now, these little relays right here are rated for 30 amps. So one of them will probably run like 4 or 5 of these without any problem. So I figure if I'm running 1 for each one, Bob's your uncle. More is better, right? After all, we shouldn't have any power issues. But the point is, I'm still ironing out the details. This is my idea, though. And hello, El Fuego. What's up, my brother? He is a green team member. Mean green. El Fuego. He's the bomb. So, yes, we're doing good. And I just explained my idea to protect lithium during extremely cold weather. I'm like I said, it's still an idea in progress. I'm still working the details out on it. I'm not sure about the switch that I'll actually end up using. I'm not sure if those guys are capable of a constant amount of power. You know, there says they're rated for 300 amps continuous. But I know they're basically switches you would use to run a starter on a vehicle, or maybe to run a golf cart around, you know, to trigger an on-off kind of a throttle deal. Something like that, you know. But that's going to be for 5 minutes at a time. And what we're doing is a lot more intense. Yes, you do need more lithium from Trunk Thunder Lithium, and you need to go down there in the link below, which is probably not. I'm going to have to change the information because it's still using some older info. But you put my coupon code in. It's CAE10, capital CAE10. Will get you a 10% discount over there, so you can go pick up some big boy lithium from Brandon, and need a 10% discount on it. The battery hookup one. Elaborate on that statement. I want to know what you're referring to. The battery hookup one. Is it a battery isolator? Because that's essentially what I need, is a battery isolator. And I know this. I just haven't. I'm still experimenting. And this is pure Diet Coke, by the way. There is no Jack Daniels in that. You know, it's funny. I'm not a non-drinker. I would consider myself a drinker, but I haven't had a drink in like 6 years, I guess. And when I do, it's usually you know, a drink, a beer or something like that. And I just find myself not drinking. So I don't know. It's just what it is. Online store, yeah, I'm familiar with battery hookup. But the big one, are you talking about a switch like this? One of these, but big? Shout out to my buddy, Hughes Janus. Hugh Janus, yeah. I have a Hugh Janus. As you get old, your Janus gets much huger and less stable. 500 amps capable. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, no, I like playing along, you know. It's good. It's good, man. I'll shout out my Hugh Janus any day. I also have a huge penis as well. But, you know, it doesn't get used much anymore. 500 500 amp capable. How much does that thing run? You know off the top of your head what the price is? Just ballpark. I can go over and check it out myself, but conversation. Mr. C. Talk about my anus. Really? Huh. 500 ampere, huh? I'll have to check into that. 2 of those would handle the charging load. Yeah, it would take 2. I think I'm jumping up there because I got see. Did you try it? Did you use Did you use that technique? Oh, Fuego, you did, didn't you? It's the bomb, dude. I'm gonna tell you, if you put it on, let it get to where it's soft. Hello, cheating Dubé. I'm gonna screw up these names so bad. If you put it on, let it get to where it's soft, then you season it in a little sauce. Let it cook a little bit, flip it, season it, and sauce it, flip it, season it, and sauce it. And I've learned if you keep the temperature kind of low, if you keep it down to around 250, between 200 and 250 and cook it a little longer, and then you get you a pair of scissors and you snip into it, one of the big fat chunks, you snip into one of them big chunks and make sure it's got some grains in there. As soon as it don't look like, gum anymore, as soon as it gets the grains, pull it off the grill. It's done. Don't want to overcook it. But it makes a really juicy, moist chicken. It's really good. And it's easy. Piece of cake. I'm glad it worked out for you. Dang, that's a good price. Huh. I know a guy that sells lithium banks. I wonder if he's ever going to stock something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Brandon. Oh, by the way, how's my audio? I am running a totally new rig, as you guys can see. And I've tested it some, and I shot a review video on it and uploaded it. But I'm wondering how it's coming over on the stream. Oh, and I hope I ain't still hooked up to the house internet, because if I am, it gets weird at times. Really strange. Crisp as that chicken on the grill. Bam! Audio sounds good. I'm so glad to hear that. I watched one of my streams and it was complete and utter chaos, and I hated every bit of it. But I left it up because, I stick all my little drawings on the fridge, whether they're good, or whether they're bad, or whether they're ugly. I ain't gonna hold nothing back. I put all my failures up just like I do my successes. So it's there for posterity. But yeah, I could do this. I don't know if this will work with the camera turned the proper way. I really hate this vertical camera crap. I just accidentally started the stream, so I'm not even sure how that happened. My finger touched the button or something. I don't know. I was doing things. But I'm going to get to work on this idea, and regardless of what switches I end up using, the rest of it is going to be the same. So I don't think that's an issue. And if Derek I fix it. If Derek, I'm going to call you that. If Derek I fix it is right, then that is, well, yeah. If Derek I fix it is right, then that's going to be a jam. 500 amps a piece. I could drop 2 of those bad boys on there for $30 plus shipping, so probably $40. And that would finish out the project. But I still got to get the heating element, and I found some of those, but I've got to find one that's both affordable and something that I trust in a very weird position. So yeah, I'm definitely going to dive into that. See what I can find, Derek. Thank you. But if I'm going to put a heating element in there underneath the lithium bank, I want it to be something reliable. And I'm going to have to test it too, to figure out how I'm going to turn it on and off, because I'm probably going to trigger it on and off with yet another relay, because I don't want to use... relays are just safe. It isolates the circuit. So if you're using one circuit to do a whole bunch of things, any failure can break the entire circuit, and all that stuff gets chaotic. But if you're using multiple relays to do the jobs, you eliminate putting a strain on the electrically on any one particular element. It's all individuals, and all of them are rated high enough. Along with the, I think I saw one that was like, what was it, like 500 watts or something like that, which would be 50 amps. So I guess I would need, if I'm using, I got to make sure the relay can handle the amperage, but I'll do that. And it ain't got to be a big heater. It's just got to be a heater. I mean, all it's got to do is warm the thing up to above freezing. It ain't got to boil something. You know what I mean? That's my theory on that. So, anybody have any input on this craziness I'm talking about? Are you guys all lost for words or what? What's up, peoples? I see lots of peoples. We got up to about 40 there for a minute. I don't know, man. I don't think they're talking, though. They're just popping in and like, who's this crazy dude? What's he talking about? Never mind. I see a cat video. Bam! Chasing the cat video. Guys, I saw a video the other day. I have this problem. I just go... here for the first time. Cheatin Dubé. Chetan Dubé. I just have to call you Mr. Doobie, I guess. Here for the first time now, going to watch the channel. See, that's how that works. That's what happened to my wife. We got to talking, and before you know it, she was watching my channel on a daily basis, you know. Doing the Doug shake. So no, I watched this video. Boston. I don't have that accent at all. I can't even badly fake that accent. But I always like listening to people from straight up from Boston talk. They have a punch to their voice. It's pretty funny. But I was watching this video. This guy had found this little baby squirrel and brought it into his house. And they raised this little squirrel. And, hey, I'm walking here. Hey, you, I'm walking here. I brought this little squirrel into his house. They raised it from a baby and stuff. And the baby squirrel was a trip. They got really, really, really liking this squirrel. And they ended up raising him up until he was grown and all that. Turned him loose. And the story was one of those things that make you so happy that it makes you cry. And I was crying my freaking eyes out, dude. I was straight crying my eyes out watching that video. And I got done and I was like, man, you suck. It was so bad. And I'm sitting there I can't even focus on anything. I'm trying to go in there and wash my face and clear my head just so I could sit back down and watch another video, because I was a friggin' wreck. A total wreck. Hey, I'm walking here. What's that? Garbage. Garbage. I'm trying to get some of this. I've heard it, but I'm just not very good at it. Andre Simmons, looking to build a system. Sound cue, not outrageous, boom. Do you have any recommendations? Budget and vehicle. I need those two informations. before I can recommend something honestly and earnestly. Give me a kind of a budget idea and what kind of vehicle it is. Muff waggle B. Sometimes I just don't know, man. I convert 50 caliber ammo boxes into portable Bluetooth speakers using my car audio knowledge. That's excellent. That actually sounds like a very fun thing to do, and I can totally get behind that. I could make a few recommendations, but I'm sure you've already got, a system. A Jeep Patriot, that's like a little SUV, and about $4,000. Yeah, I would probably go. Well, no, I wouldn't do that. Let me think on that just a little bit, Andre. If you hear me start spouting out information, that's to you. I've got to connect the sub to my factory radio on a Hyundai Sonata 2011. Do I need a convert or something besides the adapter harness? I've got to connect an amp and sub to a factory radio. You're going to need either a line output converter or a decent DSP. I highly recommend to get the decent DSP because it'll let you do a speaker level signal as an input, and it'll let you control the bass roll off that the factory stereo is going to do. It'll let you fix the phasing issues that the factory stereo's got in place. They like to do some funky stuff with phasing, and yeah, right. That's where I'm going with El Fuego. I'm going to get on that. I just wanted to process a little bit first. But yeah, I recommend you do a DSP, something like, I don't know how many channels you're wanting to run, but we'll assume 8. Go on with like a 4.8, 80.4.8 from Audio Dynamics. At minimal, the 4.8. That'll allow you to fix any phase issues that the factory system has, to fix any weird crossover points the factory system has. You can sum the channels and get a good, powerful, full range signal, and then you can divide it up how you want to. A line output converter doesn't do any of those things. It just reduces the voltage on the wire to a point to where the amplifier can handle it. And a lot of times it does that by adding noise to the system. So go with a good DSP and to hook up to your stereo to feed your amplifiers. That's my suggestion on that. Kingo Zorio. And back to Andre Simmons. Andre, yes. That's what I would do to fix that problem. It's going to help with it. In the future, you'll appreciate having the DSP too. It allows you to do so many cool things. It's a little spin up front, but it'll pay back later. As far as that 4K on the Jeep Patriot, I was going to recommend, actually I will recommend running a 5-channel amp with a built-in DSP. If you know, yes, car audio. EJV, W, I don't know how to, you got way too many consonants and not enough vowels. So there, EJ, yes, car audio. If you know you're going to stop at that level of a build on that Patriot, and you're not going to go big boom boom at some point, running like a 5-channel or an 8-channel or a 6-channel amplifier with a built-in DSP will give you the best of everything, because you're not going to have to worry about, you'll only have to worry about one piece of equipment. It's going to handle all the stuff. You got to worry about any bad connections anywhere. It's all connected together internally. Everything's going to be matched. The outputs are going to be well matched. The amount of power is going to be well matched. Minimize wiring. it's just that's the direction you want to go. And then you can make the one big investment on that whole setup there and solve all the problems at one time. And as far as speakers go, I really like, if you're not crazy about loud and you just want a little, good kick, good punch, and not extreme volume, then I would say the JBL Club series or the JBL Stadiums. Those from low volume up to good heavy mid volume, those things are really well rounded, full of power, full of love speakers. If you want a little more boop in there, then go up to the Stadiums over the Clubs, and you get a little bit more low end in them. And then look and see if JL Audio makes a stealth subwoofer for your vehicle. If they do, you want that. That's the subwoofer you want. Essentially, you want a good sealed sub that's nice and stealthy in there. So check and see if JL makes a stealth sub for your vehicle. All right. Thank you, El Fuego. Jeezy, a Pioneer 211. A pull for my Suburban due to RCA wine. Is there a way to get wine out or just kick out for new Kenwood? Wine is not usually from equipment. I'm guessing that's a head unit, and that's probably not the equipment. It's more likely that it's a bad ground or a ground that's there are two grounds that are in two different places that are causing a ground loop. It's most likely a ground issue. The way I always solve ground issues is take everything in your system that needs a ground, run it all to the same place to ground it. Most of the time, that kills your whine. And that means running your head unit's ground wire all the way back to where your amplifier is and grounding it where that amplifier is grounded at. Run everything back to that point and ground it there. Most of the time, that kills most of those issues. Kingo Zorio, have you ever seen those subs from front to back of a car? Yeah, I'm insane. So I know tons of people that I know tons of people that run systems like that. So yeah, we're all insane. Hearing's not the problem. Sanity is. Will a DSP amp manage power to each channel? Yes, absolutely. A DSP amp can do all the things that a DSP and an amp can do. And also a DSP amp can output channels to another amplifier if you should desire to grow with it. A DSP amp can also act as just a DSP if you decide not to use any of its amplified channels. DSP amp's a good way to start. If you think you're going to stop at a certain point, DSP amps is a good way to go there. JL active subs can do. Yep. There's a lot. Every company does certain things well. JL does thin subs better than anybody else in the market, period. And you could go up to any company, head of any company that makes car audio stuff, and if you can get them to answer honestly, say who makes the best thin subs on the market. If they answer you honestly, every single one of them is going to tell you JL Audio. There's other guys that get close, but nobody makes them quite as good as JL does. They definitely make the best thin subs out there. Audio control D5 1300, yes. Internal DSP, yes, exactly. El Fuego, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I was going to recommend one of JL's, but I can't because I know that that there are a few little problems with it. Some of the elements of the JL 5-channel DSP aren't perfect. And I don't remember what they were, but there were some things some little quirks that they had. From what I've heard, Audio Controls line does a fanatically good job. From Poland, I have a Ground Zero sub in a car. You, my friend, have got one monstrous sub in your car. That's an excellent subwoofer. I'm a big fan of Ground Zero. Yeah, DSP doesn't end, man. Miles, DSP questions you can't answer them all. It's impossible because there's always one question leads to another question. I heard those Arc Audio Ace Series shallow subs are pretty good. Yes, I've heard a lot of pretty dang good shallow subs. But I haven't heard one yet that gets as low and as smooth and as rich as the JL, the 3 or the 5. They just sound so good. And they take up so little space. Yeah, exactly. You're running 2 JL 10W3 thin subs in your 4Runner. Yeah, yes, all of those are things irrelevant. They are nice. They are spendy. But I promise you, El Fuego, if you pulled those out and put something else in there, you would immediately switch back. They are just better than everything else. Ha 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 ha. Funny. Kingo's Oreo fancies himself a freaking comedian. You should have been here earlier when we were talking about my huge anus. Man. You would have had a ball. All right, guys. It's time for me to take a little break off the side. Because I do bad things sometimes for runners. Well, apparently my huge anus does spill the beans. You got to find it in the comments and read it yourself. It's all there. You got to scroll up. Don't be lazy. Hey man, look here. I keep it real, man. I really do. I ain't afraid of nothing. Oh, does it bother me? You know what I think about whenever I look at this amp board? I think about a PC motherboard with a north bridge and a south bridge. Like, they're always on a slight angle to each other. One's high, it's north bridge, and one's down here, south bridge, you know? And I always think of that. Does it have to do with Taco Bell? Not necessarily. I think finding an optimum range of frequencies in your liking and then find the subs matching that sweet zone will be fun and less resonance of car parts. That's a very, very vague statement. That's kind of like saying, find out what tastes good to you and eat more of that. The problem with that theory is you wind up with a bunch of people like me that have, 10,000 watts on subwoofers and 600 watts on mids and highs. Man, not right now. Neighbor's home. If the neighbor was out and I knew he wasn't asleep, then yes, but he might be in there asleep and I'm not going to wake that man up. He's a real nice guy and we get along real well. And I'm not going to put our good relationship, in that kind of a situation. So I keep it real, man. I don't go around terrorizing my neighbors on a daily basis, because that's not respectful. He showed me nothing but respect, so I'm going to give him the same. On the other line, but no one is on. Can you play? No. Bobby B for the win. Yes, Bobby B is always for the win. Less Taco Bell, though. I ain't had Taco Bell in a minute. My wife did buy the stuff to make some Taco Bell at the house, so we might be busting that out in the next day or two. Yeah, he could be, but he ain't, because he's not a car stereo nut like we are. He likes riding his little motorcycle and going to work and coming home. He's a real stationary person. Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. What kind of music am I into? See, that's a complicated question, too. But I will say, yeah, right, I hit the Walmart parking lot all the time. What kind of music am I into? When I'm listening to music just to listen to music, and I'm not dropping the hammer on the bass, I guess I'm primarily into yacht rock. If you ain't familiar with that term, think the Commodores and Lionel Richie and Phil Collins and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Chilled out. The music you play when you're trying to get a girl to, you know, go all the way. Yeah, I listen to that stuff all the time. All the time, baby. That's where I roll. I like a little bit of country. It depends on my mood. I like some of the old school rap, again, depending on my mood. Most of the time, I'm dropping rebase stuff by DJ Rusticles and just trying to blow the windows out of this thing. There's your answer. Choose my range. Oh no, you ain't listening to my range. You're all way too high, man. "40 hertz is highest for me." There you go. Actually, I don't quite get that low. This vehicle plays good around 25 to about 35. That's it plays real good in that range. Billy Ocean, yep. You hitting it right on the nose. You like the 18 to 32. I'm with you, man. I can dig it. I just can't play that low safely. I started trying to play down below 25, and I think that I'm fixing to blow something up. Brazilian and Brazil. Yeah, Brazilians like loud music, man. I straight up believe that. I know how, you know, everybody thinks Americans just like fried chicken, you know, but, and not necessarily true, but I do believe that Brazilians like loud ass music. They just really like loud music. All of them. Everybody in Brazil likes loud music. Because every time I see Brazilians on YouTube, there's always a big, huge wall of speakers going, boom, boom. 130 decibels. Yep. That's my jam too. They wanted me to play my stereo. I told them you might be asleep, and I wasn't going to crank it up if you was at home, and I didn't know if you was awake or not. So now that you're up and I see you out. Oh no, I don't usually break windows outside the vehicle. I will rattle them around and check and make sure that they're firmly attached, though. Yeah. If it ain't got good glazing in it, if it's sitting in there loose, it could theoretically break. That's crazy. We're going to crank it up, though. Yeah. Are you headed to work? Just. You're just out goofing around. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, bring me some Taco Bell. Yeah, they were talking about Taco Bell. Got me hungry. That's what my daughter's like the best. Sorry, y'all. My neighbors out here talking now. Let's see. At 3 a.m., what the hell's wrong with you? Where are you at? No Andy live tonight. Yeah, I know. He's got to spend wifey time. So. Let's crank it up. We're going to crank it up. I'm going to give it some beans here. I got to make sure ain't nothing going to explode back here in the back first. So let me do some stuff and get everything set up here. We'll keep on going, and we'll do a little bit of booming. Let's see if I can figure out. I can barely see what's going on here. That should be a pretty good angle. I know my mic will pick up the stereo. What is that? Oh yeah, we need a little bit more of that. Yeah, that'll work. Let me see what y'all are talking about. Rebase music. Oh yeah. Yeah, head over to DJ Rusticles, man. Oh, you don't like DJ Rusticles intros? Everybody pretty much does it. Just look up Rebase music on YouTube, and then flip through them, and you'll see some of the different people that do them, and then you go to their sites and look for their stuff. Oh no, I'm good, man. It actually cooled down to a reasonable like 90 degrees out here, so we're good. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna play something. I guarantee you, it's gonna be something that YouTube ain't gonna like. You guys should still be able to hear me fine. That's the wonder of having a microphone. I gotta make sure ain't none of my stuff going to shake around too much. So I can't see the camera now. If you guys are writing me messages, I'll get them in a minute. But we're going. Oh yeah, we're sitting at 13.2 right now. We are good to go. Let's see what kind of crazy stuff we can get into. We're gonna. It's late enough in the afternoon, and we shouldn't bother the businesses. Y'all want me to play a little bit. This is one of those times where I can, so I will. I'll play something from my playlist. I do have another neighbor over there, but she's crazy, and so it probably won't be a problem. She's an old lady, but she's a crazy old lady. Probably won't be an issue. So I'm gonna play Ghost and Stuff by Dead Mouse. If you guys are looking for a good rebase track, look up Ghost and Stuff from Dead Mouse featuring DJF Bass and DJF Bass. Look for that. It's a 28-36, this remix. It's gonna clip all to hell, y'all. Everybody ready? Now we're sitting at 13.8 right now. Actually 14.1. Hang on a second. That's Ghost and Stuff. So we'll do one more little bit. We'll do Hillbilly. I'll let you guys. I'll set it up on the subs. Hillbilly, 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 hillbilly.
We're about to rustified.
I know for sure that this shit's crazy. What we got? We got one more in here somewhere. Oh, we could do Steve Earle. This is a pretty good track, y'all. This is called Copperhead Road. You know the song, but you ain't ever heard it like this.
Well, my name's Charlie Pettimore. Seems my daddy's daddy before. You hardly ever saw granddaddy down here. They only come a town about twice a year. Buy 100 pounds of yeast.
There's some coppers. Everybody knows that he made moonshine.
Oh, my granddad, he left behind everything. Apple out there, gotta come back from Copperhead Road.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got all the neighbors interested in what's going on over here. I have no idea what you guys could see. Oh, it absolutely will, man. It'll get bonkers, dude. That port's crazy. From up front, whenever, even as a C-pillar wall, from up front, whenever I got it playing, I can feel this, on the right notes are hitting, I can feel this wind just blow in from the back. It's crazy, dude. And I'm not talking about the normal air movement that you feel when subs are playing. It's like a big old fan comes on in the back and it starts blowing. Yeah, it blows right up here over my shoulders. Like a big gust of wind comes blowing up. It's really cool. Yeah, it gets down. I hope that gave y'all some kind of idea, because it's hard to convey what one of these things sound like over recording it and replaying it elsewhere on a different device. But it does get down and sounds really good. So yeah, not only can I play loud, but yeah, exactly. It's just like an air cannon. It's just like somebody shot a potato launcher over behind me and just feel the wind coming from back there. It's really cool. But I can also play very clean. And so, like normal balanced output, we can do that too. I can play to a parking lot with my doors. My doors are actually really, really good. You're going to B-pillar. Oh, yeah, C-pillar is my jam, but I may do a B-pillar at some point. But I can play to a parking lot and a pretty good stunt wall. I can put up a pretty good stunt wall just with my doors. But Brandon, Truck Thunder Lithium, is supposed to be working with me on doing a thing up here that's going to take up most of this space up here. I'm still going to have a little bit of room left over right here for like a 6.5 and a tweeter on either side. kind of that egg-shaped thing going on. And so I'll be able to do a thing back here with a little extra stunt wall. But those doors are crazy. When I got that thing running at like half or 3/4 volume, the subs are turned down to where they blend with the rest of the music. It's straight up like it's a band out here, dude. It's loud. Right then, I've only got the mids turned up. The mids and highs were only about half volume. Actually, a little less than half volume whenever I'm doing demos, because most people don't want to get in there and have their ears blown with mids and highs. They want to hear the bass. You got to have enough music to be able to understand the track and to make it all work, but you want to be able to give them the full amount of bass without overwhelming them with ear-piercing mids and highs. So you got to find that balance, you know. And whenever I have it set up like I do right now for demos, it's going to pump out lots and lots of bass and subdue the mids and highs quite a bit. But yeah, it'll get down. You ought to hear when I play something like ZZ Top, Tush. Tush is one of my favorites. No Parking on the Dance Floor. Jam-Oni from Nucleus. A lot of those old 80s tracks. Beeper Freak. Stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I would throw down in the parking lot. Just a lot of 80s rap music. Houdini, 5 Minutes of Funk. Dougie Fresh. You know, I'll just drop all kinds of weird 80s stuff. 80s rap. I think some of the best rap was from the 80s. It didn't have as much bass as the modern stuff does. It was kind of bassless. But it definitely was some of the more skilled and more well-produced rap music. So, oh yeah, Jam on it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I went to my. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see, badass bass. Yeah. DJ Siren. I'm looking up some of you guys. Yeah, I've been using Epicenter lately. Epicenter's kind of weird. It can be awesome. It can also not be awesome. It can break things. So be careful with Epicenter. Yes, it will. Absolutely. That port will snatch things out and rip them to shreds. I do not want to have to clean it out of that box, though. I can't fit my ass in there. The B-pillar wall, the tracker. Yeah, that is a plan. I'm more of a C-pillar guy, like I said. Yeah. I feel you on that. You could always do a infinite baffle on that, though. Let's consider that option. Replace jam on it. Yes. Transformer scratch. You're giving away your age there, Fuego. I actually missed the dubstep craze whenever it got real hot, and I was busy doing other stuff, and I just I wasn't listening to any music at that time. And then later on, after dubstep had came and gone, I discovered it. And I actually like a lot of dubstep tracks. I don't like dubstep as a genre, but there are tracks that I really get a kick out of. One of them is called Centipede by Knife Party. Knife as in knife party. Knife Party. And the name of the track is Centipede. That thing, oh man, it's great. It's got a long build up, but boy, when it drops the hammer, it really drops the hammer. It's really good. And the Transformer scratch I know of, but I don't know of specifics. So I can't totally jump in there with you. But I know of the time frame. It is almost time for me to find some food and consume it. Run DMC and the Beastie Boys at Paramount in 1987. Boy, that would have been a hell of a show. Hell of a show. Two amazingly talented groups. All right, so who was it that sang, You Dropped a Bomb on Me, Baby? You dropped a bomb on me. Bomb, 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 bomb. Dun, 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 dun. Who was it? Come on, somebody help me out. That band that I can't remember the name of, the Gap Band. Yes, my friend who was a bass player, our bass player in our band, got to meet the whole group, the Gap Band. Got to meet them and hang out in their studio for like a weekend. One of his buddies was a kid or a grandkid or something, and he ended up hanging out in their studio for the whole weekend and jumped in there and played songs with them and stuff and goofed around. They were all retired at the time. This is all years after they had last really produced anything, but he got to get in there and play with the guys and jam out with them, and they were really impressed with his bass playing skills. So that was really cool, a really cool story about them. DMC did a show at my high school, 88 or 89. Oh my God, dude. Tell me you built your bass player a custom sub. No. This was back before that was really an option. You couldn't really recone or anything like that. In fact, we got most of our car audio equipment at that time from the music world, the bass amps and guitar amps and stuff like that. One of the common ones, if you want to look these up, they're still around. Look up the Scorpion Plus, the Black Widow bass amp speakers, Scorpion Plus bass amp speakers. Look up the PVTNT bass amplifier, and that came with a Scorpion Plus 15 in it. We used that stuff for car audio. There was no car audio. So the car audio scene was being created by us enthusiasts. So you couldn't just go to the store and buy a sub for a car. That just didn't happen. It didn't exist. So and you couldn't buy an amplifier or any of that stuff. You had to take home amplifiers and home stuff and figure out ways to run it in a car. It was a lot of work and a lot of really crazy stuff. But yeah, we had all kinds of weird things going on back then. There was no car audio. There was just PA equipment, public address equipment and amplifiers, guitar amplifiers and bass amplifiers and all that stuff. And that's what you built your car audio system with. Godfather 15. Yeah. If you want a really good, crazy, one of my favorites to build with was if you could find a pair of the PV 250 watt loudspeakers. They were a 15-inch driver and a horn mid tweeter. They basically were indestructible, so you never find them, that you could get cheap. If you get them cheap, they were the cabinets would be all dented and scratched and gutted. But if you get a pair of those, man, you could do anything with those speakers. They would literally take anything and they would do anything. They fell out of the back of the truck on the way to the show dozens of times, got left out in the rain, got ran over, got parked on, got kicked and bumped, and millions of beers spilt on them, and they would always just keep playing. Crazy stuff. First amp was a ZR600 kicker amp pushing 4 J Audio 12s in the 90s. The early 90s were some of the very coolest years for car audio, and it wasn't because that the early 90s had the best car audio. It was because we were finally getting the ability to buy decent car audio. Prior to that, there was just nothing available. So whenever you haven't had a candy cane for 20 years, that cheap dollar store candy cane is going to taste amazing. And that's kind of what happened in the very early 90s. We all got a taste of real equipment, and you could never get that high back. That was the first high. And so you spend the rest of your years chasing that first experience, and you're never going to catch it. Even though you've surpassed it many times, it doesn't seem like you have, because it was the first. It was that first unique thing. Ever heard of virtual technology, circa? Yes, but that's the extent of my knowledge there. Heard of the name. Yeah, a wall would be a great solution in a Firebird, because you're so limited on space back there. You'd basically, to get that kind of base, you'd really want to do that. Original Gold Letter 8 kicker subs from 1989. The Gold Letter 8 kickers. Man, awesome speakers. Really, really good. I had a set of the Stillwater Designs ass kickers. And it was a complicated story as to how, which was literally the first thing that kicker didn't exist at that point. It was Stillwater Designs. The first thing they really did in the car audio scene was that. That was their first foray into the car audio scene. And my friend had lots of money because his dad was a truck driver. His dad bought them for him. He wrecked his truck. His friend, his better friend than me, got them next. And he ended up getting his truck stolen. And he got the truck back, but it was destroyed, but the speakers were still in there, for some reason or another. They had sit out in the parking lot for like a month with it raining on them, and they were in bad shape. At which point I ended up getting them, and I refinished them and had them for years. The kicker, the original Stillwater Design ass kickers, and they were great, man. I still have my original 8s, and it's down. Are those 8 still usable, or more for display? I guarantee you they still function. But he probably doesn't put them on any power. Yeah. If you the problem is, see, in the home audio world, they had found this wonderful foam that made a really good speaker surround, subwoofer surround, and it was working great in home audio. What they didn't know is that after a number of years, it would degrade into dust, especially if it was exposed to the outside climate. So whenever we started doing car audio, they just moved that same surround into the car audio, and well, you guys all know how that went down. It didn't work at all. But we had to learn the hard way that you needed a more robust material for a surround. But the brand choices, see, and that's a statement. I love all the brand choices. I am an anti-brand person. I buy equipment based on that particular piece of equipment's properties and what it can do to solve the problem that I have. I don't promote a brand because a brand doesn't necessarily make all the things that I want. They may have a really good thing here and then meh here, you know. Oh yeah, I agree with you on that. The surrounds on my subs survived because they were never exposed to direct sun. That's probably part of it. Sure. There's some Rockville stuff that's fine. I don't want any of their big subwoofers, but you know, they have some decent equipment. You just got to know what you're looking for. The surrounds survive because they were exposed to direct sun. That is a definite thing. But you know, the material that they use to make a lot of the puppets and stuff for movies, like the Gremlins, for example, the material they use to make the foam rubber stuff, that's the stuff. It's flexible, and yes, sunlight kills it over time. But just so you know, El Fuego, you can get a new surround if you need to. You can buy a surround kit that allows you to just replace the surrounds. So you could replace them with a matching surround and still be able to use them. It wouldn't quite be the same, but it would be mostly the same. Nobody else would know. Sofa King, Sofa King, how do you feel about Scar? Scar's a brand. For 4 years, been running an 18 single and a ported box, 4-cylinder Jeep Cherokee. I was thinking about upgrading it to another single 18, but it would have to be, yeah, the big 3. Yeah, you'd need to probably, I don't know how much power you're trying to make. It's all about how much power, not how many subs. You could run 6 18s on 500 watts. So that doesn't really tell me anything. In fact, we used to do crap like that. Run 4 15s on 400 watts. And yeah, you'd be surprised what you can do with a very low amount of power if you got enough cone area and the right enclosure. But yeah, power is more important than what you're referring to. But how do I feel about Scar? I don't have any problem with Scar. I know there are some Scar subs that are absolute abominations to all things bass, and I know there are some Scar subs that are phenomenally good. They're as good or better than anything else on the market at making power and being reliable. They're not going to be SQ subs per se, but so yeah, I don't have a problem with Scar as a brand. Not all of their equipment's good, but not all of JL Audio's equipment's good. Not all of Sundown's equipment's good. We could go on forever on that. That's why I said I'm not a brand person. I'm more of an individual component person. There's only a few brands out there that I could say are going to consistently make good products, like consistently. And I can name them off for you. Though these names are shifting a little bit, but as it stands right now, the ones that I would put on that list consistently, everything that they produce, Kicker, Rockford Fosgate, and JL Audio are going to be the 3 top that I would say that you could buy anything with any of those names on it, and it's going to be pretty good. What's up, El Fuego, with the $10 bill? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Congratulate me on the success of my channel. My dedication and passion to my craft shows. Where do I see my channel going in the next 6 to 12 months? Probably to the bathroom, because apparently I have a huge anus and that thing is uncontrollable. Where do I see my channel going in the next 6 to 12 months? I want to get up over about 10,000 subscribers. I want to shoot, that's what I'm planning on, is getting up over 10K in the next year. And I'm pushing for that because the subscribers is important. Into overall analytics and the way the channel operates, having a higher subscriber count lends to a steadier income. I'm also going to be pushing more towards some slightly more reviews. I'm going to do some testing and review some stuff. So we're going to be doing that. And over the winter, I'll probably be doing reviews and testing, indoor stuff, and live videos like this one. A little more structured. This is one of my random, out of the blue live videos. I don't have 410s, I have 412s, just so you know. That's okay. Let's see. Help. Where should I set my frequency on my 4-channel amp to run my 3-way 6x9s? I would set it at not knowing anything, not knowing anything else, I would, on some bi-9s, I would set it at 80 hertz, 24 dB roll-off, Butterworth. You might try 70 hertz and then crank up your system. If you're getting some distortion in the very low bass notes, then bump it up to 80 hertz. 80 hertz with 24 dB is going to play some lows pretty good. That's a good spot for 6x9s or 6.5s or 8s. Plans other than, yes, I'm going to eventually build something with very large subs. My next build will be probably 18s or 21s. I'm going crazy big. Yep. Yeah, that's what I said. Thank you, Jason. Very good, sir. Let's tell stories of vintage equipment amps, speakers, processors, various brands and types. Oh, how much time do I have? Vintage equipment. I was a poor construction worker back then, man. I had a few, but it's time for me to take a break, so I'll be off to the side and talking. Just in case there's any young children watching, I don't want them to get an idea. Making bad life choices like old Uncle Gary did. All right, let's talk about some old car audio. One of my favorite systems was in a Ford Ranger. This was in the mid-90s. And I had a Boss amplifier. Boss. Yes, the same company, or at least the same name brand. It was a 5-channel, and I bought it used at a car audio dealer, and I had 2 Earthquake 8s in a sealed enclosure that I built it was a single cab Ford Ranger, so there was literally no space. I'll explain how I did that, but I did. I built it, and I made 2 8s work in there with the seats all the way back and everything. It's crazy. And I had Earthquake 6.5 coaxials in the doors, and I had 2 of the Earthquake screamers in the dash up by the windshield, and that little plastic strip that runs up there. I'll put 1 in each corner. Great big, huge silk dome tweeters. That one was crazy. That was an SQ system that was loud, but it wasn't a high bass output system. Let's see what else we got going on in here. Oh, we're going. Alphasonic. For a standard cab truck, recommend 4 8s or 2 12s. I only have space for 2.3. All right, on that single cab, on that 4 8s or 2 12s, well, what's going to make the lows in this situation isn't the cone area. Well, what's going to make the lows probably is going to be the cone movement. Okay? And depending on a lot of variables, going with a smaller driver in a larger enclosure is going to net you better lows than a larger driver in a slightly tight enclosure. On the other hand, the larger driver in a slightly tighter enclosure is going to net you more control and more accuracy and more punchiness. So depending on what kind of music it is, quick, fast rock and roll, quick music, a larger driver and a slightly undersized enclosure is going to give you a really good sound there. Whereas if you want to just drop the hammer on lows all the time, smaller driver, bigger box, using the airspace for that movement is going to probably net you better lows. That's generally. I know that sounds all kind of crazy, but it's the truth. El Fuego of tons of vintage. Oh yeah, El Fuego's he's crazy. Tons of vintage equipment from the late 80s and 90s. Rockford, Orion, Z Audio, Autotech, Soundstream, and Kicker. Oh man, there's so many good names in there. Orion. One of my favorite amps, bass amps, or sub amps, was, if you guys remember the Memphis 1000.1, the chrome ones, solid chrome. I love those things. I had 2 of them, and then I only had 1 because 1 got stolen. And then I had 2 again. And then the car got repossessed and I lost both of them. But yeah, that was one of my favorite amps. They were super clean and I just liked the way they looked. Sounded great. George Perez. I always wanted a PPI art series. Oh, son. I had a 2-channel. I had a 2-channel Precision Power art series, and then I had a friend that had a whole car. Dude, his whole car was art series amps. I don't remember what they were, but it was and the car was done up to resemble the amps with the white, with all the splashed paint. The whole build looked like a PPI art build. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. He had some clear subs. I don't know where he got those or what they were, but the cone was clear, well, translucent, and he had lights playing in there so you could see the lights behind them. This was in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. ZVX12s and a smart 8K. It's a solid system, but you're going to need more battery. I think your problem is not going to be the equipment. Your problem is going to be electrical. You're going to need to really invest in the electrical to get that to work, but it's going to be a good system. Yeah, exactly. Ported box or a passive radiator would be a solid choice. Like an 8 with a 10-inch passive radiator, that would be a good choice. El Fuego is trying to make deals. You go, Fuego. He's wheeling and dealing, y'all. Oh, that reminds me, I need to check on this thing. Guys, can you see this? I don't know. Oh, is it on camera? Can y'all see this thing? This is the receiver for my headset. Now, they say that it gets hot after a little while. We've been at this for an hour and a half almost, and it's just warm. So this thing does not get hot. If you guys want a wireless mic set up, you've been listening to it this whole live. This thing is phenomenal. I just got it today. I did a review today, but wow, does it sound good? I know. I mean, you already told me it's crisp and clear. Said it was crisp like chicken. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. I have been through so many different mics trying to get something that consistently works and will also work for live streaming, because live streaming, whenever we start the app up to live stream, it doesn't give you the opportunity on the phone with the default YouTube app. It doesn't give you the opportunity to select a different audio source. So you're stuck using with whatever it pulls up, naturally. Well, if you use a USB input, it'll automatically default to it. If you're using a Bluetooth input, it won't. It'll ignore that. And so I needed a UHF mic like this one to be able to do this kind of a setup so that I can make it work. And this thing sounds great. And including the headset and a bunch of equipment I'm not using, this setup that I'm using right now is like $38. So, we be jamming, baby. I mean, I may be a retard I don't have all the cool toys that Andy does on his live streams, but at least my audio is good. At least now my audio is good. And who are you talking to? Where do I call home? Are you talking to me or someone in chat? So I can answer that question. Let's see. The audio sounds good. True. Main Class D. Yeah. Okay, me. I call home Springfield, Missouri. I grew up in southeast Arkansas, down in the rice country, where the rice and the skeeters grow, and duck hunting. Lots of duck hunting. If you know where like Stuttgart, Arkansas is, or some of the bigger places like BB and Lone Oak, Arkansas, West Memphis, Arkansas, those areas. I grew up out in that area. Nothing but rice fields, ducks, and mosquitoes everywhere. Everything was swampy. It's very much like the Louisiana that you see on TV and movies and stuff. We had a lot of land down there that you would swear up and down you were in the bayou. So, Cajun. Walk in here. Is my Boston guy still in chat? Boston? Andre 4000. It's a good name. I used to go by Trucker 9000. For a long time, that was my channel name, Trucker 9000. And Gamer 1. That was my first YouTube channel, was Gamer 1. And to this day, when you Google Gamer 1, if you look hard enough, you'll find some remnants of that channel, although the links will be dead. Cyclone subs are still pretty cool. Do they ever sound good? Phoenix Gold. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you, some of the new Phoenix Gold mids and highs are very clean. I've heard some. There's not anybody local that's worth a damn that carries them, but I've heard a set of some of the newer upper tier Phoenix Gold 6.5 3-ways. I don't remember the nomenclature to describe them accurately, but they were very focal-ish in their sound, which means they leaned a little bit more toward the high mids, but they were crisp and clear and really, really good sounding. I've never been crazy about the focal sound because of that tendency to really emphasize that 2,000 to 3,000 hertz, just kind of clacky, you know. I personally, of the upper tier speakers, I personally prefer the Morale lines. Morale tends to have, or Morel, however you pronounce it, tends to have a sound signature that I like, and I like Audio Dynamics. So, if you guys are looking for something that's more affordable, that's in that pinky class, the Audio Dynamic 3000 series, 3-ways and 2-ways are excellent choice. They are a very balanced sound. They don't have a real bright high end, and they do have a good smooth low end, so they really bring a good balanced sound. If you're going to run subwooferless, or if you want a system that really gives you the bass in the front, those guys are great. And the 5000 series Audio Dynamic 6.5s bring a lot of bass into the front. So that's another good choice if you're looking for, if you don't mind spending a little money to get something amazing. The 5000 series 6.5s and the 4000 series 3s and the 3000 or 4000 series tweeters would make one monstrous 3-way set in the front of a car, but you're going to pay for them. And then if you want the real serious crazy bass, you can go to the 6000 series subwoofers. But again, you're going to choke when you see the price on them. They're bad, and they're clean, and they sound amazing. But you're going to have to take out a small loan to buy one. So, price per pound, I don't think they're worth what it cost. But if you don't mind spending the money, they're absolutely awesome sounding subwoofers. They're just so expensive. If you want something that's a good price per what you get, the 2000 series components and coaxials from Audio Dynamics sound as good as any other of their sets, just can't get as loud and still sound as good. They are great speakers for a small amplifier or a head unit. Like if you put the kicker key on a set of those 2000 series mids and highs, it would blow you away, dude. Four Harmony Audio 6x9s. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. The Harmony Audio is a slept-on brand. The people never heard of them, or they just don't think much about them. But Harmony Audio's got some good sounding stuff. You know, you can get a really good sounding speaker and not pay a ton of money for them. You just got to know what to look for. You know. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm off. I'm kind of off on more new school, but you guys can go back and forth there, have fun at that, because this is how we roll. I guess we're going to go for a little while more, although I'm starting to get hot out here now. I've been out here and outside for quite a while. Legendary Kenwood 921 and 1021. Oh. Now, let's get into, let's talk about head units. I'm trying to remember the name of this one that I ran multiple of, and sometimes some words just don't stay in my head. It wasn't Audiobond. They had, all the different head units had city names as their lines, and I can't think of it right now. So if you guys have any idea what the hell I'm talking about, just put it in chat. They had like city names or country names or something like that as the name of each line. There's a head unit. I had a couple of them. No, not LA Sounds. Close though. Damn good guess. That's a good guess. My go-to head unit, if back in the 90s, the most popular head units were the Pioneer Supertuner. Everybody, you had a Pioneer Supertuner. There was no upgrade path from there. That was it, right? But for me, it was always Sony. Blah Punt, yes, that's it. Thank you, Jason. Blah Punt, you nailed it. I had two different Blah Punt head units, and one of them was in that Ranger I was talking about. They had the Boss 5-channel. I had never heard of Boss before in my life at that time, but that thing sounded really good. That head unit was phenomenal. It sounded great. That whole system was just a wicked good sounding system. But yeah, my go-to head unit was a Sony. Sony, and the reason is Sony was just reliable. They were well designed. Their controls always continued to work properly. They had a clean interface. They just knew how to build a head unit. Pioneer went kind of crazy by adding bells and whistles that you really didn't care about, just to try to sell more stuff. Kenwood took the same approach, And Sony just said, let there be music, and this is how we do it, and we ain't going to change it because it works. And there's stuff, you threw it in there and hooked it up, and you always had rock solid clean. You knew where all the buttons were. Everything was just, it was all of what you needed and none of the crap that you didn't need. So I always appreciated Sony. Not taking away anything from Kenwood and Pioneer as far as sound goes. They were just as good, if not maybe even better. But the whole experience, I felt like Sony offered a better experience in a head unit. Peace, man. No problem. You guys can come around here Sunday. You know what's coming. Sunday up at Carmel Car Audio. I'll be up there shaking the concrete. Me and some of the local guys will be up there for a Midwest SPL show between about 10 in the morning and 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be on. There'll probably be hot dogs. There won't be no Taco Bell, though. We ain't got Taco Bell money. We're a bunch of hot dogs. We got hot dog money. Boil water, throw in the hot dog. You know. Actually, my buddy Carmel's got a roller grill. He puts everything on a roller grill. Like at the gas station, you know the little hot dogs rolling on? He's got one of them at his shop. So he'll be roller grilling stuff. Alpine started. The DIN matching components. Yes. And that was actually a good deal. Alpine's always had good head units. Really, they've been pretty good in everything. I ain't really got any complaints about anything that Alpine's done. In fact, one of my favorite go-to loud drivers is still the Alpine Type R 6.5s. If you want to crank the snot out of a stereo system and just get as much as you can out of one single 6.5 on each side, Type R's all the way. They're going to do it every time. And I've never blown a Type R. Never blown a Type R tweeter. That's a funny thing. Remember me telling you I had Earthquake 8s and I had Earthquake 6.5s, Earthquake tweeters. At that time, all the Earthquake's tweeters had thermal protection on them. So you'd be listening to the song, cranking the snot out of it, and the tweeters would just stop playing. And you'd turn the volume down a little bit and give it a second, and they'd come back on. It was annoying, but you didn't blow them. You couldn't blow them. They cut themselves off whenever they had thermal protection on the tweeters. It's very cool. That's the first time and the only time I've ever seen that. I'm not sure. I do like Infinity Kappa, but I'm not sure about those. Can't afford hot dogs. Well, you know, you can always just have a bread sandwich unless you ain't got no bread. Then you just have to think about food and drink a lot of water. I've been ketchup sandwich poor. I've been bread sandwich poor. If you're really lucky, you got some onions and some potted meat and some bologna and shit, you can actually make a sandwich. You know, maybe the first few days of the week, then toward the end of the week, you're eating bread sandwiches. You know, we do what we got to do. Everybody had it rough at some point in time. I grew up way out in the country, and my mom was working her ass off at a factory, you know, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, and just to keep everybody eating, you know. So I know all about it. Stepdad was a carpenter. His money came and went, you know, it wasn't consistent. So we'd have real good money one month, and then a couple months go by, we'd be scraping together, you know, trying to eat sticks and stuff. Well, guys, I have gone on long enough. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, and I had a great conversation. I just installed my first 320 volt Big 3. There you go. What are you running? You have lithium. I'm not right now. I'm running both, but that's kind of a long discussion. Just keep an eye on your voltage, and if you're going to let it sit for a while, disconnect the lithium or disconnect the lead acid so that it's not pulling the lithium down. But for now, just do some research. That's a long discussion. The hardest tweeter to blow were the Fultron 1-inch. Oh, yeah, the outer, where the coil is on the outside. Yeah, those are some good tweeters. Very linear. Yeah, the thing about tweeters are, even if you think you send a shit ton of power to them, you don't, because there's so much resistance, active resistance, that you probably end up sending them like 20 watts. You threw 600 watts at them, but they didn't actually take that much power. They resisted that. That's why you can run like, you can wire tweeters in parallel, like 4 tweeters in parallel, and you'll have a low ohm load, but your amp will still play it, because the resistance is so high, the active resistance, that it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Tweeters are weird, man. They do weird things. No, car audio is not a cheap hobby. You're either going to spend a lot of time or a lot of money or both. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Jason, for being here and helping answer questions. You guys are all awesome, and I love hanging out with you. But I've got to get me some food. I was talking about hot dogs. That made me hungry, and I need to feed the beast, you know. You guys have a good one, and peace.